All right, let's talk. You know those days, right? The Wi-Fi cuts out in the middle of a huge meeting, or you step on a Lego in the dark and it feels like your life is over. But get this, your absolute worst day, it's like a luxury vacation compared to what your ancestors went through. Seriously, we're gonna look at how your tiny, everyday annoyances are actually a privilege, one that was bought and paid for by thousands of years of just brutal survival.
So, to really wrap your head around this, we gotta go back, way back. Think about your family tree for a second. There's you, your parents, grandparents. Okay, now hit fast rewind. You're gonna zip past powdered wigs, blow by knights in clunky armor, dodge some charging mammoths, until you land on some distant ancestor, just kind of squatting in the dirt. And their entire goal for the day? Just don't die before the sun goes down.
Right, that person. Your nameless, probably shoeless ancestor, they are the only reason you're here. Their whole life was just a constant fight against stuff that wanted to eat them, infect them, or freeze them solid. If they tripped over the wrong route or took a nap in the wrong cave, poof. You, with your need for artisanal coffee and your doom-scrolling habit, you just wouldn't exist. Gone.
And this really gets to the heart of it, the sheer, mind-boggling unlikeliness of you being here. Just think about it for a sec. Every single person in your direct family line, going back thousands of years, every one of them had to survive plagues, famines, wars, getting eaten by a bear, all just long enough to have a kid. If just one of them failed anywhere along that line, that's it. The chain breaks. No you.
Okay, so daily life with a nightmare. Got it. But they must have had some fun, right? Kicked back, went to a party. Well, yeah, about that. If you think your family holiday dinners are awkward, oh boy, just you wait. Turns out, parties back then had, let's say, slightly higher stakes.
So look at this. On one side, you've got your standard holiday dinner drama. Your uncle's weird political rants, the turkey's a bit dry, you know the drill. On the other side, the Roman festival of Saturnalia. Instead of bad political takes, you get citywide lawless riots. Seriously, all rules are just off. Forget dry turkey, how about a very real chance of getting crushed by a mob? It really puts your passive-aggressive cousin in perspective, doesn't it?
And hey, it wasn't just the Romans who had intense parties. Let's talk about the Aztec festival of Toxcatl. The deal sounded amazing, actually. One person was chosen to live like a literal god, Tezcatlipoca to be exact, for a whole year. You get the best food, the best clothes, constant music. You're basically a rock star. But you knew it was coming, right? There was a catch.
Because at the end of that year of luxury, the party's over. The chosen one has to walk up the steps of a great pyramid. On each step, they break one of the flutes they played all year. And at the very top, well, they meet the gods. The whole celebration ends in a ritual human sacrifice. All of this just to make sure they'd have a good harvest. Yeah. Suddenly having to do the dishes after your birthday doesn't seem like such a big deal, does it?
All right, so parties could kill you. Fine. But what about a normal day? A boring Tuesday? That had to be safer, right? Nope, not even close. In a lot of ways, the day-to-day dangers were even worse.
I want you to think about the last time you had a cold. You know, you're all stuffy, feeling sorry for yourself. Yeah. For us, it's an annoyance, we take some medicine, we complain a bit. Back then, a simple sniffle could be a death sentence.
So, let's talk about the year 1347. This is when Europe got a special delivery from Central Asia, courtesy of some fleas on rats. It was the Black Death, and it basically turned staying alive into a terrifying lottery. You could catch it from a handshake, from drinking out of the wrong cup. Heck, you could get it just from breathing too close to someone.
And you want to know what the peak of medical technology was to fight this thing? A dude in a creepy bird mask. No, I'm serious. The long beak was stuffed with flowers and smelly herbs because they thought it would filter out the bad air. That was the plan. That was the best they had.
But it wasn't just disease that could get you. Even the social rules were intense. Think about arguing with your parents. Maybe it's about your curfew or who you're dating. It's annoying, right? Well, in ancient Rome, if you took that argument just a few thousand steps too far, the punishment was, let's just say, creatively horrific.
Okay, so if you were found guilty of killing one of your parents, parricide, the sentence was something called Poena Cullei, the punishment of the sack. And trust me, it is exactly as awful as it sounds. Here's what they did. They'd take you and they'd sew you inside a big leather sack. But oh, you weren't alone in there. No, they'd put in a few friends to join you. A dog, a snake,
a monkey, and a rooster. Then they'd seal the whole thing up and toss it into a river. You're not just drowning, you're drowning in the dark while being clawed and bitten to death by 4 panicking animals.
All right, let's do one more, just to really drive the point home. You know that feeling of getting into a car on a hot summer day? That blast of heat that's just unbearable for a minute? Okay, now, what if that feeling was the punishment?
Let me introduce you to the brazen bull from ancient Greece. It was this giant hollow statue of a bull, made entirely of bronze, with a door on the side so a person could fit inside. Then they'd light a fire under it and, well, you get the picture. They'd literally cook the person alive. But here's the truly messed up part. The inventor designed this whole system of pipes inside the bull's head, so the person's screams would come out sounding like the roar of an angry bull. It turned torture into entertainment.
So, fatal parties, useless plague doctors, sacks full of angry animals, human-sized ovens. After all that, let's just bring it back to right now. To you, probably sitting on a comfy chair, scrolling on your phone, completely and totally safe.
The very fact that your biggest problem today might be bad Wi-Fi or that you're bored in a meeting, that's not a problem. That's a miracle. It's a luxury that was paid for by a line of ancestors so long and so tough, it's hard to even imagine. Every single one of them won their own personal Hunger Games every single day, just so you could be here complaining about your phone battery.
So when you think about it, you're not just lucky to be here. Luck doesn't even begin to cover it. You are the end result of thousands of years of people enduring horrors we can't even stomach hearing about. You're the product of violent, random chance and a stubborn will to live that just refused to die.
It kind of changes your perspective, doesn't it? The next time you get annoyed because your food delivery is 5 minutes late, maybe just take a breath and appreciate the absolutely incredible, brutal miracle of your own wonderfully boring, fantastically safe life. So go on. What minor disaster are you going to conquer today?